man for man. I can go Hulk and smash. You can get all my raps. Better not cross my path. I'm just mad. I'm big mad. We stay mad. Cause we mad.
Good evening. Good evening. What is going on? You were tuned into the Mad Ones Live. This is your boy, Professor Tony, and Solo Dolo right now. But you know the guy Boog will be over here. K might pop in a little bit later too. I hope everybody's doing good, man. I'm gonna give y'all a little second to pop in and run on in here, man. Cause we got a real interesting one today, man. One that make you think about what's going on in the rat race, pun intended. Y'all come on in. All right. I see my guy Jeff here first. What's going on, Jeff? Mr. X-Lax, what's happening? Hey, Chrissy. How you doing? All right. I'm gonna let a little bit of y'all come in here, man. We're gonna talk about our society, man. Where we at, man? We're gonna get a little deep on this one, man. A lot of people ain't heard about the Mouse Utopian Experiment. So that's why I think this will be interesting, and y'all could share this with some friends and family members. Let's spread the word about this, man. You know. So, we'll wait a little bit longer. Let little other people get in real quick. There goes Queen. What's going on, Queen? All right. Yeah, appreciate that, Jeff. All right. Okay. So the rioters, yeah, I mean, the riot is spreading, man. You know, we copycats out here, man. So California start rioting. They was rioting out here in Georgia, over there in Brookhaven, tearing up Brookhaven. We ain't liking it over here. We don't like that. But they tearing up Brookhaven right now. I heard something going on in New York right now. So yeah, that's kind of crazy, Chrissy. That I guess now they said they're gonna do criminal charges because they was tearing them police cars up. They were throwing all type of boulders on them police cars from the top of the bridge onto them. Man, it was crazy. All right. All right. So Mr. X-Lax heard about it. Cool. Cool. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to give this a little second to let people come on in because I know when they come in a little late, they're gonna be asking all type of questions. But chat, yeah, I know y'all got it, chat, y'all could tell them, y'all could tell everybody, hey, this is what it is. This was going on. This is where we at. We catch them on up, man. I think we might just go ahead and get started. All right, then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so we're gonna make this go full circle. All right, with a few everybody in here. We got about 10 folks. All right, so I know more will be coming in soon. But until then, let's go ahead and get started. All right. So you see, this is a simple thing that people throughout history, I guess, took for granted because we never thought we were going to get where we are right now. I just want to show you this. You could replace this with a black family, Hispanic family, Asian family, whatever it is, it's just a family, right? Look, they look happy, right? Looks like a fake magazine life or maybe a reality show, or maybe they were just fighting right before and they said let's take a picture for the gram to make everybody else jealous. You know how our cynical minds are. Or maybe they could actually be happy. Maybe, we ever consider that maybe these people really are happy. There are people like that out there. There's anomalies out there. There are people that are actually happy and they got all these kids, right? But the thing is, what's crazy is this right here this right here is something in the old days that was just expected to happen in adulthood. You just knew this would happen. You would get older, you would have a family. Your mom and dad used to be like, can't wait till you had little grandkids running around the house. Not so much today. Today's expectations have changed drastically. And this experiment that I'm going to go over with y'all is going to touch on that. It's going to touch on that. As a matter of fact, it's going to explain it in a way that y'all probably never seen or knew or heard of. Okay, but I'm gonna read her tweet because she does have a point here. She says society has glamorized a toxic lifestyle full of alcohol, partying, processed foods, birth control, and boss babes. So that by the time you've experienced life, and she put quotations on experiencing life, because y'all understand that experience life, and want to settle down in your 30s and your 40s, your body is completely burnt out, stressed, and infertile. So she's talking from the vantage points of a female, but this could also apply to the men as well. All right, but it makes sense. This is a female posting this, so she's talking from her vantage point. But it is very true. They tell you in your early years that you got to party. You got to party. You get what I'm saying? Don't miss out. Don't miss out on life. Have y'all ever heard somebody ever tell you that? If you like say you didn't want to go to a party, it's not even really that important too, right? But you like maybe a headache, got a headache, or you just don't feel like it, you're tired, or you want to watch a show, or you just feel like staying in the house. Man, you missing out, man. You missing out. You remember that? Missing out on what though? What am I missing out on? Right? That's that peer pressure to try to get you on out at the house. You know what I mean? Uh, and also like, girl, I heard my homegirl say this to each other. Girl, you need to live your life. What exactly does that mean? What did he mean by live your life? Go out there and have some sex with some random guys? Have you a one night stand? Twerk in the middle of the flow? What do you mean live your life? Because aren't you living at the house too? You can live at the house too, right? Now I'm not saying I'm not against going out. Don't get it twisted. I'm not against going out. I'm just talking about the culture, right? I'm talking about the culture, and she made a good point that we do glorify some of the toxic things. Now, it was one song that came to my mind when she said this, and I was like, I'm gonna read these lyrics because I used to remember thinking about this because this song came out when I was going to the club in my early 20s. I remember seeing this video. All right. And this song right here, we're gonna go over the lyrics. All right. It's better to instead of playing it, it's better if we read the lyrics. All right. I think a lot of y'all know who she is because y'all around my age. Okay. Y'all around your 30s. Um, y'all know who she is then. So let's go to this right here. Kesha. Y'all remember that song, Kesha? Tick tock, something, something, round the clock. I don't know how, I don't know the damn words. We've had to read the words. I heard the song a million times. I know how the tune goes, but I ain't listened to it that much. But I remember seeing the video though. And this embodies what the media, and you know who runs that media, what they push on us constantly, right? And I want to show this right here. All right. So, verse 1. Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Now, this doesn't age well. This song doesn't age well. Off top. It did not age well at all, bro. Like, that's your life. That's how you start the song. Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. That's how she said it in the song. I tell you, I know the tune, right? That damn, bro. Talk about a song not aging right. All right. There's some songs that can last forever, not this one. All right. But instead of just focusing on the P. Diddy part, look at what the message of this song is. Cause I remember there was millions of young girls literally doing this. Cause this was about when I was in college and we was living that lifestyle. It was millions of girls on this same thing. He said, grab my glasses. I'm out the door. I'm gonna hit this city. So, he's talking about going out. You know what I'm saying? Either going out on dates with guys or going to the club with friends, whatever, going to lounges, just something, doing something outside, right? About to hit the city. Before I leave, I brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack. Is that toxic, bro? Is that good for you? Why the hell would we put that in lyrics? We don't even think about the songs that we listen to. It just sounds good when we start doing like this. Yeah, 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 I like this song. I like how that sounds. That's how we are, right? He said, before I leave, brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack, because when I leave for the night, I ain't coming back. Now, I don't even know what that means. Maybe she's about to sleep at a dude's house. Or maybe she's like, YOLO, I know I'm going to die tonight. I have no clue what that really means. But she ain't coming back. She leaving, she ain't coming back. Maybe she's spending the night. We're gonna go for the better solution. All right. All right. Now the pre-chorus. I'm talking pedicure on my toes, because it's for the girls, prying out all our clothes, boys blowing up our phones, drop topping, playing our favorite CDs. Now, damn, this on our age. We talk about some CDs now. We got the drop top playing our CDs. But the girls are all going out. They want to meet a bunch of boys. And you know, if you girls and guys get together, we grown. We know we having casual sex. We having casual sex. And Chrissy said, I mean, they was blowing up my phone. Oh, damn, I like Money Long. I like Money Long. That's one of the artists I'm rocking with right now. Yeah, yeah, hey, I mean, yeah, they was that's what I'm saying. This is the lifestyle that they push, and that's what we're about to go over because you'll see how it all ties into the experiment. Queen said, "Oh, she about to get her groove on." Okay, so look at this. So they drop top and playing their favorite CDs, pulling up to the party, trying to get a little bit tipsy. Now, mind you, she just woke up feeling like Diddy. So I don't know if she just left a freak off. The, she just woke up from a freak off, and she's letting you know she was drunk by brushing her teeth with some more alcohol, Jack Daniels, right? And then she goes out. So she must have woke up late. She goes with all her homegirls. She goes get a pedicure done, buy some clothes. Boys blowing up her phone all day, like, hey, what club you gonna be at? Y'all remember them days? Where you gonna be at? What you doing? And then y'all all riding, jamming to y'all favorite song, and then y'all pull up. And then you trying to get drunk again. And you just was drunk. But that's what we push in our society, though. Right? And we all, it's harmless. It's just a little fun. But what if you do that every single weekend? Matter of fact, no, you know what? I remember in college, it started Thursday. It started from Thursday to Monday, right? Used to have a place called Club Library here in Atlanta. So we go there. Matter of fact, now we went to MJQ on Wednesday. So it started Wednesday. So it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday sometimes, because sometimes they would have like a lounge you might hit up, right? And then Monday was a chill day, Tuesday was a chill day, and then you do it again. So we was clubbing and partying 5 days out the week, right? 5 days. And I might have done that just for a little bit, but not for the whole time. But I had homegirls and homeboys that was literally all throughout, and even to late 30s. They was out clubbing every day, just about every day. You know what I mean? So now she gets to the party, she wants to get tipsy. And now she said, "Don't stop, make it pop, DJ, blow my speakers up, because we in the party, right? Tonight, I'ma fight till we I'ma fight till we see the sunlight." I don't know why we fighting, but you know how it is at these parties. People do gets to fighting, right? So, but this is what we're promoting in our music. And this is just one song, but I just thought this song had everything in it, right? Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop. Y'all remember the oh whoa whoa whoa? Y'all remember that part? I can't do it like she could do it, but I used to like this song though. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ, blow my speakers up. Tonight I'ma fight till we see the sunlight, right? And now here comes verse 2. Now remember, she's already waking up feeling like P. Diddy. Now she don't got a care in the world, but got plenty of beer. Ain't got no money in my pocket, but I'm already here. And now the dudes are lining up because they hear we got swagger. But we kick them to the curb unless they look like Mick Jagger. I was like, bro, wait, what the hell does Mick Jagger look like? I know this dude. Was he supposed to be a heartthrob back in the day? Why is he saying they got to look like Mick?
I
What
thought
up,
you
bro?
just trying to rhyme, so. Huh?
I want to see. Now I gotta get him. Okay, I can't get him when he's old. Let me see him when he's like 25.
I thought you
Something.
just trying to rhyme something.
He just used the name to rhyme. That's bad, man. That's bad business, man. As an artist, we can't do that. We can't have that. You did music, bro. I'm gonna go in the 80s. Mick Jagger in the 80s. Let's see what he looked like. Maybe they like how
like
he
he on
looked.
drug. Still like a drug addict.
I'm gonna get a young picture. I'm gonna get a young picture. We ain't gonna do him like that. We gonna. All right. Does he look like a drug addict? Maybe she mean like a bad boy. Maybe he was a bad boy. He said they lining him up for the takedown. He got a big mouth like that. Hey, you know they got a show on Netflix called Big Mouth. He got a big mouth like that. Said he's a legend. Yeah, I got the moves like Jagger. So Mick Jagger was dancing on the stage. He said, "Show me what that mouth do." Maybe they're like, okay, so maybe she had like that mouth. Okay, Chrissy put me on the game. That's why she wants somebody to look like Mick Jagger. He must have got a big tongue, big old mouth. All right. So how's this all tied together to the Mouse Utopian Experiment, right? How's this all coming together? Because let me come to this one more time. Let me go back over here. All right. So we just read those lyrics. Wait, did I get all the lyrics? Let me make sure. Okay. So I'm talking about everybody getting crunk because back in the day we were saying crunk. All right, I know it sounds crazy now, but this is an old song. Okay, I'm talking about everybody getting crunk. Boys try to touch my junk. This is, bruh. Is this was before the Me Too era though? So I'm just gonna say that much. This is before Me Too happened. Okay, so she wrote the song. I'm assuming, or Money Long might have wrote. I don't know. Somebody wrote the song. Okay, I'm talking about everybody getting drunk. Boys trying to touch my junk. Gonna smack him if he get too drunk. Now we gotta go until they kick us out, or the police shuts us down, and then back to the hook. Right? I think that was it. Oh, hold on. Yeah. So all this other stuff is just like just the repeat and getting them hype. All right. But when that girl said on this post, society has glamorized a toxic lifestyle, right? We did not really promote this. I mean, I could think of maybe like old shows, like old shows, like Leave It to Beaver, right? Like them type of shows. Like they used to show that. Maybe the Cosby's had something like this, but it's not really promoted in media, right? They do glamorize a toxic lifestyle, waking up with a bottle of Jack in the morning, going to partying, drinking all day, doing drugs. Yeah, Andy Griffith show. Thank you. I was thinking that's the one I was trying to think of first, Chrissy. I just could not think of it.
And the
But yeah,
Griffin
like
show.
Andy Griffin, yeah, them shows like that. Leave It to Beaver, Andy Griffin. We gotta go way back to get to them talking about family and wholesome shows. You know what I mean? They like Little House on the Prairie. Yeah. Yeah, we got to bring that back. We got to make a Little House on the Prairie with some black folks. We call it the hood, Little House in the Hood. And so some black folks. I Love Lucy. Yeah, but I Love Lucy wasn't. Did they have a family? They had a kid? I can't remember. The Brady Bunch. Nah. Brady Bunch. Nah. Brady Bunch was kind of. They was early. They were doing blended families early. Good time. Yeah, okay, yeah. Good Times is a good one. They showed you didn't need money, but you had a family, right? So yeah. But yeah,
Man, I
Lucy
don't care
is.
what y'all say. I keep telling y'all Married with Children was one.
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
Married with Children was dysfunction. Stop it. We talking about this, but they were showing dysfunction, and with Children was showing dysfunction, bro.
they didn't cheat on each other, none of that.
That's what we call it. The little nigga, the niggas on the prairie. That's what we call it.
Oh, yeah, Family Matters.
Family Matters. Yeah. All right. So that might have been
Fresh
around the
Prince.
last one. No,
The
hell
Fresh
no.
Prince.
Nah.
What about the Fresh Prince? They had a family
I
structure.
guess. I mean, yeah. They were just showing that he was a hood boy that moved over there. Yeah. That's what they were trying to show. But the point is, they don't really promote that now. If we show now, it's like Modern Family and I don't know, the sitcoms. It's not really families now. It's like The Office and Parks and Recreation and Reno 911, and they don't really show families no more. Can't even think of it. Yeah, nah, not now. Abbott Elementary. All right. So the point is, she's right. We don't promote that, man. Right. So now, what is our mindset like now? What do people think about now? All right. So let's see. Before I show you, I want to show you this. Look at this. What's going on right here? I don't know what the hell Korea doing. South Korea tripping, bro. But this is right now. There are not enough babies. There are not enough babies. Do you understand what that means, Book? I don't think people understand what this means. There are not enough babies. Look in the 50s. Look at during the baby boomers era. Look at the baby boomers, right? It's up here. We're down here and we're projected to go down here. We're projected, if you can see my mouse, we're projected to go even to like South Korea or lower. South Korea, they're literally they having that 3B movement over there. Remember that book? The 3B movement where the
What the
girls
hell? Hold
they
on.
was
What
like
hell?
that was when they were like they're not dating, they're not sleeping with men, they're not doing that with men, that thing. And the girls over here like we're gonna do that too after Trump won. Remember that? Well, they got that going on over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, when
So
I
look
had
at
the
this.
most babies last year,
Look at this graph.
That.
Look at this graph. Israel has is having the most babies.
No, they say Africa last year.
No, they not. No, Africa's
now
a whole
I'm talking
country.
about not on this.
That's we talking about
the
per
whole
country. Per country, Israel's having the most babies.
Countries inside Africa. We don't know all the countries. I don't even know all the countries.
You don't have to know all of them, but you can know some of them.
They
most
just
people don't even know
Africa.
some of them.
That's all they said.
That's all everybody say is Africa. It's like damn, there's countries inside that motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know all the countries.
But per country, Israel's having the most, and it's not by accident. So, but check this out. Check this out here. All right. Right now, Gen Alpha, it's only 40 million of them, bro. You understand what that means? Right? Let's just say, because I don't know the exact amount. I do know it's only 40 million Gen Alpha, but let's just say there's 100 million baby boomers, right? Okay. The baby boomers are older now. If baby boomers die off, we lose 60 million people because they did not replace the baby boomers. Only 40 million came. It was 100 million here. Only 40 million replaced the 100 million. Do you understand what I'm saying, Book? So guess what happens? When we get older, in the next 40 years, Book, when we over here trying to be in some old folk homes, who gonna take care of us, Book? Where the money gonna come from? How are they? Millennials are the next biggest generation. Gen Z shrunk, Gen Alpha shrunk. Millennials, right? We have a large amount of us. Who's going to take care of us? They don't have enough money to take care of us, Book. That's what happens when you don't have kids. See, nobody thinks about that part. When you don't have kids, there's not a next generation to work those jobs. Maybe that's why they're trying to do this AI thing. It's going to all make sense. We're going to tie it all in together. We're going to tie it all up together because there's not enough people to do the jobs. Right now, it's a problem because we got all these people. But as we just saw, I just saw the dude from Cheers. The dude from Cheers just died. I can't remember his name. Norm, remember the big dude where everybody knows your name? He just passed, right? So they gonna keep dropping like flies now, bro. And we don't have enough people to replace them. But we don't think it's a problem because we worried about ourselves. All right, we're gonna get to this experiment, but I just want to see. I want y'all to see why we're here at this experiment. So let's just hear a couple people. He went in the streets asking people about if they wanted kids. All right. Now, back in the day, like I said, it was a foregone conclusion. You were going to have kids. It was beneficial to have kids because if you was on a farm, the more children you and your wife had, the more productive you were, right? The more money you made. We moved away from that model.
Remember they say about 2030, everybody gonna be immortal in a damn way. It might not be good to have all these damn kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. But let me show you this here.
I feel like life is like boring without having kids. Like, what do you do? I mean, I guess you just like have sex the rest of your life. Like, I would have kids.
I don't want to have child because it's not good for planets. Because I don't want to be bothered by something that pee and poop everywhere. And because I don't have time for that, I just want to care of myself. Thank you.
All right. So there was two things. He put two reasons. One is he don't want to have the responsibility. Okay. All right. Cool. The other is the planet is too dangerous. It's a lot of people that believe the world's gonna end. What's the point? What's the point of having these kids? Right? So ideology is starting to take root.
You guys want to have kids?
Fuck no.
I don't want no more kids.
I don't want kids. Personally, no.
Wait, so you guys all anti-kids in this whole thing?
We are from France.
Why do you think some people don't want to have kids?
Because they're annoying. Climate change.
Bruh.
Oh, that one of their numbers dwelling.
Yeah. It's a fact here. I don't know about it around the world, but conservatives are having more kids than liberals. And a lot of that is because they're going to get a lot of the guys during 2020 when they got vasectomies. I mean, right after 2020, there was a movement. I can't remember what the whole movement was, but the liberal guys went and got vasectomies. And a lot of the women say they don't want to do it because of climate change. I heard that a lot.
Yeah, it's like really hard on women's bodies to have kids.
Like
Stretch marks.
stretch marks and the oceans rising?
Yeah, climate change and stretch marks.
That pretty much sums while they're like laughing while she's saying, but that does really sum it up. Look, that it really is. They don't want to mess up their body, right? But at the end of the day, you get older, your body is gonna do what your body does. It's natural, unless you go get the plastic. You know what I'm saying? Unless you just get all the plastic surgery. Like who was that girl that married that old man? You remember her name, Book? She like had all the plastic surgery and she married that old dude, and that's what she got famous for. You could do like her. I can't. Anna Nicole Smith.
The old man.
Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh yeah.
And Ms. Alex said, I'm expecting my unvaxxed semen to be worth some money soon.
Hey, I don't know.
But they say the black semen is more valuable right now because there's not enough black men going to sperm banks. It's hard for them to find black sperm. So you know how that works. All right, so yes, he said vasectomies to fight climate change. Oh, okay, that's what it was. Dang, I can't remember what it was, UP. Thanks. Yeah, that's what it was. I told you it was some type of movement. They went and got vasectomies to fight climate change. So they have convinced people to stop having kids through climate change. All right, so let's keep this going.
Probably why I wouldn't want to have kids.
I feel like a lot of people just like assume women should be doing that shit, and like I'm not putting my body through all of that.
But you guys think you're ultimately gonna have kids between the both of you?
Societal pressures would lead towards yes.
Do you want to have kids?
With you or just in general?
In general. Do you want to have kids?
Bro, she was shooting her shot, man. See, some dudes be oblivious though. Boog, some of them be oblivious.
Yeah, he didn't get it.
He did not get it. She was letting you know she was interested, my guy.
Eventually, yeah.
One day, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now this is the other part of it that we're gonna get into, but it's one day, maybe later, right? That's putting off responsibilities, right? That's our generation. We have done that. Some of it has been forced on us. Like we can't buy houses because our parents were buying houses at 23, right? We have not been able to because of the time period we're in for most part. There's some, I'm not saying everybody, but because there's some that have been able to buy early. But even that, also just having kids, it's some by choice, it's been forced onto us.
I'd love to have kids.
Yeah, I want to have kids.
You want to have kids?
Yes, I do.
Why?
I'm from the South, and that's what you're supposed to do.
What better gift to offer the world than half of me?
I think life happens, and it's you might be missing out on a certain form of love that you can never experience unless you have them.
I mean, I just want to be a mom because I feel like that's what women are made for.
I don't know. I don't have a clip of that, Chrissy, but maybe me and Bud will go. We'll hit the streets. You know, we might do that. We'll hit the streets and we'll ask some people. We'll ask some black folks in Atlanta, get their thoughts. We might do.
You want to have kids?
Yeah.
Maybe
I already got.
So why do you want to have kids?
I really like babies.
Really?
I love them. They're so cute. You just want to like squish them.
How many kids would you have if you could throw it out there? Are we going for 1 or are we going for 10?
3.
Oh, twins.
Thinking like 40.
40 children?
Yeah, might as well,
Oh my
right?
God, right? One of them's gonna be a rock star. Do I want kids? I mean, no, not currently.
All right, yeah. See, maybe she's a little drunk too. I didn't watch all of it, but I just wanted to get that beginning. She's clearly liking this guy. All right, so let's get to this experiment because I want y'all to hold on to everything I was just putting out there and showing y'all about this situation here. That these people are pushing off responsibilities, and we're gonna check out this experiment. It's called the Mouse Utopian Experiment. Okay, also called Universe 25. All right. So, just to give you a little brief synopsis, it was this guy named John B Calhoun in 1970s. In the 1970s, he held an experiment. I believe the experiment went for like 5 years, and he had a bunch of mouse, a bunch of lab rats, and he put them in this perfect condition of always having food, always having water. It was a large enclosure, so they did not ever feel like they were trapped or in a cage. Um, it was basically a mouse utopia. This is why, hence the word Mouse Utopia Experiment. He wanted to see how they would thrive in this situation, right? So I just wanted to give you a brief synopsis. We're gonna go over it. We're gonna watch this thing play out. And man, when I say it gets deep, bro, to you'll see why I was showing you all this before. Let's just say that much. All right, so let's hop over here. All right, so here we go.
Has attempted to answer this question. In a unique experiment that took years to complete, Dr. Calhoun used white mice to study population growth and its effects on individual behavior. In addition to his renowned research papers, he has recorded some of these observations on film. In this 16-cell mouse habitat, utopian conditions of nutrition, comfort, and housing were provided for a potential population of over 3,000 mice. Yet, in spite of ideal conditions, the mouse population met with catastrophe. Individuals were kept track of by color markings on their fur. Factors which normally control population growth, such as predation by owls or cats, were eliminated. Transmissible disease was also reduced. In effect, the mouse universe simulated the present situation of a continually expanding population of humans. To see how Dr. Calhoun's mouse universe grew, we'll use the familiar population graph again.
Mm-hmm.
Within the first 100 days, the mice went through the period Dr. Calhoun called strive. This was a period of adjustment. Territories were established and nests were made. The next period lasted about 250 days. The population of the mice doubled every 60 days. This was called the exploit period. The use of resources became unequal, although...
All right, that'll be similar to us. That'll be our baby boom period. Okay. After the World War II, food did get a lot cheaper due to science and our learning of agriculture and manipulation of agriculture. Food became a lot cheaper because of pesticides, able to keep off bugs, and we lost less crops, led to a population boom. All right.
Each living unit was identical in structure and opportunities. More food and water was consumed in some areas. As the population increased, most mice associated eating and drinking with the presence of others, and crowding developed in certain units. The third period, consisting of 300 days, found the population of mice leveling off. This was called the equilibrium period. Dr. Calhoun noticed that the newer generations of young were inhibited, since most space was already socially defined. At this time, some unusual behavior became noticeable. Violence became prevalent. Excess males strived for acceptance, were rejected, and withdrew. Huddling together, they would exhibit brief flurries of violence among themselves. The effects of violence became increasingly visible. Certain individuals became targets of repeated attack. These individuals would have badly chewed and scarred tails. Other young mice growing into adulthood exhibited an even different type of behavior. Dr. Calhoun called these individuals the beautiful ones. Their time was devoted solely to grooming, eating, and sleeping. They never involved themselves with others, engaged in sex, nor would they fight. All appeared as a beautiful exhibit of the species, with keen, alert eyes and a healthy, well-kept body. These mice, however, could not cope with unusual stimuli. Though they looked inquisitive, they were, in fact, very stupid. Dr. Calhoun called the last period the die phase, leading the population into extinction. Although the Mouse Utopia could house 3,000, the population began to decline at 2,200. In the shift from the equilibrium to the die phase, each animal became less aware of associates, despite all animals being pushed closer together. Dr. Calhoun concluded that the mice could not effectively deal with the repeated contact of so many individuals. The evidence of violence increased to the point where most individuals had had their tails bitten to some degree. Eventually, the entire mouse population perished. Dr. Calhoun's experiment is a classic example of a typical population and its growth when left unchecked. Research in this area continues under his supervision. Currently, Dr. James Hill has taken the basics of the Calhoun experiment to study social behavior even more closely.
All right. So what ended up happening is the whole population of the whole mouse population that was striving in the very beginning, the first couple of years, they went extinct. They all went extinct. All right. So what's crazy is the reason why it went extinct is because it was too easy. Life was too easy. That's the crazy part. Right? So compared to our ancestors, because I know we all like to say, man, my life's hard and sucks, but compared to our ancestors, we know good and well that we got it easy. I don't know if you go to BC, you go to 1200s, you go to the 19th century, the 18th century, I don't care what century or time period you go to. This modern era, we got it easy. Right? We got electricity. We could wake up, just flip the switch.
I will say this though. I'm saying kids ain't cheap.
We got to go and turn on the water faucet. We got hot water, book. We get hot water, book, instantly.
Yeah, we
back
do
in the day,
that.
let's go back to the Little House on the Prairie. Let's go back to the Little House on the Prairie. No. I'm not talking about. We'll get to the kids. We'll get to the kids. We'll get to the kids aspect, but that's not the purpose. The point being is, we have life easy. Us getting food, we just go to the grocery store, right? We just go to fast food restaurant, easy, right? We get us processed foods in a minute. We get us $1 Michelinas from Dollar Store. You got something to eat, you know Michelinas. You get you a little chicken Alfredo, get you a pack of noodles for 35 cents, right? We got it easy, all right? And that's what they were showing in that experiment with the mouse experiment. The mouse had all the foods. They never had to work for their food. They never had to forage. They never had to do anything for the food. They just go there. It was always food available. Okay. Next thing they always had was water. It was always available. They had no predators. In the wild, they had to survive. Here is the same thing with us. Back in the day, Boog, it was a chance that your kid was getting snatched by a wolf. Do you think about your kid getting snatched by a wolf when he was a little, Boog? No, we don't think
Oh,
about
I
that.
get
We don't.
perverts though. You still got predators out
Oh well,
there.
of course, but that see, but we're gonna get to that because that we're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
But we're just talking about
Yeah.
the factors, the environmental factors that are associated with us survival skills, right? And also they had the perfect weather conditions, right? It was always perfect weather. Just think of like Southern California, like always like 77, 76 degrees, nice breeze from the ocean.
Always
You know what
sunny
I'm saying?
and kept.
Always sunny in California, right? That type of thing, right? So that's what they had all of those. So you would think that since it was like a utopia, they had everything they need. Why did all of a sudden they started having something called in science a behavioral sync? A behavioral sync. What happened was they started getting aggressive. They started getting aggressive. The male mice, after getting all that excess food and having easy access to sex and et cetera, they started getting aggressive and violent. Now tell me, and then they built it in a way where it's mimicking a little city. So just think of a situation where you're in a little city, right? So it's like that. They're in a city. They all of a sudden start getting aggressive and violent. They start getting aggressive and violent, right? They just start fighting each other all the time. Does that sound familiar? Because I
That's
can
right.
tell you right now, we even if we go back to the 40s and 50s or whatever, they wasn't fighting each other in the streets. They wasn't shooting each other. They wasn't doing all that, right? Then guess what they started getting to, book? Because they started getting abnormal sexual behaviors. They started getting weird sexual behaviors, book. So this what started happening. They
Hey
had all
man.
that food. The mice had all that food, all that water, everything easy. They all of a sudden started getting hypersexual. That remind you of the baby boom book? That remind you of the free love era in the 70s? Peace and love, Woodstock.
Free
They started
love.
getting hypersexual, bro. They also started raping, started struggle snuggling the other female mice. They started struggle snuggling the female mice, bro. And then what even crazier too, bro? The mice started committing cannibalism for no reason, bro. They had all of that food and they started being cannibals, even with the food, right? So I'm not saying all the mice. That could be like your serial killers. You know what I'm saying? That could be the weirdos. Guess what else started happening? When everything was easy for these mice, everything was easy. Because you know what? If it wasn't easy, the mice would be more busy trying to find shelter. It'll be more busy trying to forage for food. It'll be more busy trying to find a mate. You get what I'm saying? Because even if I didn't notice, even female rats do not sleep with a male rat unless he has a house. Did you know that shit? Why the hell do the rats know that? Even female rats know.
You for
No, real
real?
talk. Look it up.
Get the
They do
hell out
not
of here,
sleep,
man.
bro. That male mouse, the male rat, has to show her he has a burrow. Yeah, they know. They know, bro. Like them females in
So you
nature
mean
picky,
stand in
bro.
somebody's wall or something?
Well, I
So you
guess
mean
you.
stand in somebody's wall or
Hey,
something?
I
The
guess you
rat
can
gotta
say the
say stand
wall.
in
Yeah.
somebody's wall.
Hey, like, look. Hey, it's his house. He's like, look, this is my house, bro. Okay.
Yeah, man, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. There's no homosexual
Ain't no
mice.
homosexual mice. Boy, go ahead on
Right.
Mr.
But
Crazy.
I'm talking about outside of this experiment. In this experiment, they were sleeping with anybody. It didn't matter. That all that went away. That's what they were saying. That's why they said abnormal, right? The female mice were no longer picky. They were sleeping with everybody. It was just pleasure. Okay.
Damn.
All right. Guess what? Then guess what started happening too, Boog? The female mice started to neglect their babies, bro. Does that sound familiar? Because I think Chrissy was talking about that a little bit earlier, like why she wanted to wait because she wanted to actually take care of her kids. Are there not a lot of women out here that we see that we'd be like, damn, maybe she shouldn't have had kids, right? Guess what these mice started doing? They started neglecting their kids. They started abandoning their babies too. The female. They started having high
That's
infant
crazy.
mortality rates. And they even started attacking their own kids. They started abusing their kids.
Man.
They had all that time, all that money. I mean, not money. Well, we could say it's a bunch of money for them, but they had all that food, right? They had all that water. They started abandoning and abusing their kids. And guess what else started happening? You know the other male
Yeah, that's
rats?
real talk.
You know the other male rats? They started becoming asexual, bro. Does that sound familiar? They started withdrawing from society. They stopped trying to sleep with the females. They were avoiding the alpha
They
male
were going
rat.
to new generation.
Why the hell is this experiment from the 60s and 70s just like now? You get what I'm saying? Why?
Hey man, that's how they look at our way, like some damn mice out here. We gonna
Bro, of course they did the experiment.
That's crazy.
They call it a project, bro. They set up the projects very similar to this, bro. All right. So look at this, bro. Why in the world did those male right mice withdraw from society, bro? They spent more time instead. They were not trying to fight. They weren't trying to interact with nobody. They literally just started becoming loners. They weren't trying to have sex, nothing. They became asexual. They lost interest. They lost interest in having children, literally. Yeah, that's what happened with the male mice. All right. And then guess what happened to the young mice? Guess what happened to the young mice that had the daddy leave, mama leave, mama was abusing them. The young mice, they became dysfunctional. They became dysfunctional. They had no skills. The younger mice that came afterwards, they had no skills.
That baby gonna die off there.
Yeah. And that's why they ended up dying off. Does this not sound like what we see today? Aggressive violence all over the place. Hypersexual activity, or all the way to not having sex at all. Like you sleeping with everybody. You got people out here, these girls sleeping with everybody. And then you got these dudes sleeping with nobody. Right? You got them neglecting their kids. Neglecting kids. Either from abusing them to just leaving them.
You got them other thing. What them people call to sleep with anything?
Oh, the pansexual.
They call sleep with anything. Were they pansexual?
Yeah,
they sleep with anything.
Well, that's what they mean by hypersexual. They were saying they were doing all the activities. That's what I mean by that. You get what I'm saying?
You said the young mice became Democrats.
But yeah, man. So that experiment was done in the 60s, going into the 70s. All right. It took about, I believe, 5 years to go through the whole thing before they passed away. All right. They also called it Universe 25. Okay. It went from 55. It went how many mice? I can't remember how many mice they started with, but the population increased all the way to like 2,200. That was the peak population, and then they died off some years after that. All right. Mind you, don't forget the graping too. We got to add that in there. So graping. So imagine if they were human. Sex trafficking would be one of the things that's going on. You get what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, this right here, this experiment is pretty much being conducted on us, bro. That's my point, bro. This is being done to us right now. There's no coincidence. We are doing the exact same thing. Right. They call it overcrowding. This especially happens in cities more so. Right? This especially happens in some places like New York, those type of things, Chicago, right? These densely populated cities. They know good and well putting you in an apartment building and overcrowding you brings out abnormal ways of living. They know that. You got these people in the hood.
Yeah, you see in New York,
you got them
all, that apartment.
You got them all crammed together. It wasn't by accident. Let's just say that. And we kind of knew. People call it. We called it the trap down south. They called it the projects up north, right? We knew. We kind of had an understanding. We just don't think about it. We just kind of say the hood and just keep on moving. But that was not by accident.
Keep it moving.
All right.
No, that's why
So
they call it a
they
project.
continue
It
to
was
promote.
experiment.
Yeah, they continue to promote us to do toxic things like that song. It's a harmless song, right? I'm not blaming Kesha, but you know what I'm saying? She's waking up in the morning with a bottle of Jack, drinking and using that for toothbrush, trying to get different guys to sleep with, going and partying all day. Just woke up from partying, feeling like P. Diddy.
Got the Diddy
Just let the freak
syndrome.
off. You just let the freak off. Now you're trying to find more parties to go to. And then if you don't do it, they say you ain't living your life.
Got the Diddy syndrome.
Yeah, you ain't living if you don't do what we doing, if you ain't out here doing the wildest shit, you ain't living your life. You ain't never lived. What's wrong with you? You ain't living your life. Right? So I want to get some people to call in if they have any thoughts about this this experiment and the parallels between us and this Mouse Utopian experiment. And if you ever heard about it or not.
Nah, this my first time hearing about it.
Yeah, trap music. Yeah, that's true, Jeff. Hey, put that in the chat, Book. Put that in the chat. Let them come on up. Let me talk to them real quick. Yeah, put the link in the chat. But yeah, share this with your friends if y'all haven't heard of this. But it's the parallels are not by accident. When I learned about this, I was sitting here like, this is us. Those mice, they us, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, they do all kind of experiments on us. They experiment with everybody.
Man, everything. What did those mice do that we're not doing right now? Population declining. We are a lot of people are not having sex, right? Or they do have sex, they have kids, they abandon them or abuse them. You know what I'm saying? We hypersexual. Like it's the weirdest time. It's like you can see some people do 1,000. Remember that girl that slept with 1,000 men? That's the hypersexual that they talking about. Or you'll get a girl or a guy, a girl or guy that's trying online talk about they touch deprived because they haven't touched anybody in years. We're getting these extremes, and it's not by accident. We see now that this is they tried this before and they just
you got the
put it out
serial
there.
killer. I don't know about you, but you will check the show out earlier this week.
Right. Then we got the serial killer. So that would be the cannibals.
We do got a serial killer running around. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that would be the cannibals in the experiment, the one that was cannibalizing people. Right. That is abnormal for the mice to do that. Definitely when they had food. So that means they weren't doing it out of hunger. Right. So that's what we're saying. It was just out of cruelty. And that's what these serial killers do. And that's where we are. So
yeah.
Anybody want to come on up?
Put in the chat. Anybody want to come up? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Talk. I let me and old Professor Tony.
Mm-hmm. What you anyway, Book, since you ain't see what you think about that, Book? Because I want to show this.
I feel like that's exactly what.
Say again.
You talking about what I think about the mice?
Yeah, what you think about this whole experiment?
Oh yeah, they've been doing that forever. They playing in our face forever. Yeah, that ain't nothing new. Think about it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's how I know. That's how I know. That's how I know whatever they try to do is not going to work. Because look at this. Trump is over here proposing a $5,000 baby bonus per baby, Book. You get 5 racks per baby.
Oh, yeah.
Trump proposes a 5,000 baby bonus to boost the U.S. population. But guess what?
Hey, Chrissy.
Hey, Chrissy.
Hey,
what's
y'all.
up?
It's my first time on Nervous.
I see. What's up? I'm excited.
Yeah, I see. That's what's up.
Hey, y'all.
All right. So what do you think about this? I don't think any of this is going to work because I think we're literally living the experiment right now. So he says that he will give a $5,000 bonus to people that have children. I don't think it's gonna work. What are your thoughts on that, Chrissy?
I mean, honestly, people do anything for some money now.
That's
Put
true.
an
They do.
incentive on it. But I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
these numbers are a little because how are we hypersexual but not having babies? Because I see a lot of them. And everybody
Well,
get
yeah,
pregnant.
we do
They
have
just
we
doing the
do have
census number.
no, but we do have people that are hypersexual, but everybody
Mhm.
you remember like that girl, that one we did that episode where that girl slept with 1,000 men in a day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the norm, right?
Right.
Right. So
But
those
she
those
pregnant now
things,
though.
yeah,
By
but
who? Who her baby daddy?
she
Number
don't know.
111?
She don't know.
I
But
don't
the
think she
thing is,
knows. I think one of them dudes she slept with.
yeah, it was one
Yeah,
of
she
them.
don't
All
know.
1,000 niggas got to get a
Yeah.
DNA test now.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
That's insane.
the thing is, she's a minority, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of women also talking about being touch deprived too. So you see, I don't know if you ever seen those videos on their TikTok and on Instagram, and they're kind of crying and like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't been touched in this long. I don't know what it feels like. I was crying because somebody just hugged me the other day," and da da da. Right. So there is both extremes being put out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they're talking about actually sitting down and having a baby,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot less people doing that, and because they're pushing it out till later on, right? Some
I
people
mean, is
aren't
that a
doing it
bad
till
thing?
well, overall, it's a bad thing because it will lead to less kids, right? So you have a shorter window to have kids. If you wait to 35, maybe you can have one or two, right?
I mean,
What
Janet
as a
Jackson popped one out at like 50.
well, yeah, and there's always outliers.
I'm
It's
just
always
saying.
outliers, right? It's always outliers, but there are people that typically, uh,
Mm-hmm.
typically around 40s,
Mm-hmm.
40 to 45 is when it stops. A lot of um,
Robert De Niro just put one
uh,
in a girl 28. Yeah, he just had a baby. He about 90. Yeah,
I mean, I'm
not
twenty-eight.
we're
I
not
don't
talking about
mind holding off because I
we're
feel
not
like a
talking
lot of
about for the
people haven't.
men. We're because you said
oh, you talking about
Robert De
for the
Niro.
women. Okay.
Yeah. We're saying
Robert De
the
Niro,
cutoff
yeah.
is usually around 40. So say because you're 28 and you're in your 20s,
Mm-hmm.
but let's just say 12 years from now it stops, right? Right. So you have 12-year window of having a kid, as opposed to back in the day, our moms and our parents and all throughout history, they started at 18 out of high school. Remember? So that
Mine
was a
started
20.
at 28.
Hell yeah.
Well, not just your parents. We're just saying in general, right? Women,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of out of, everybody like, oh, my grandma and grandpa got married out of high school, right? That was a lot of that
Right.
going on. So
16,
that's a
17, they were having babies.
right. So
Basically, I mean, they was
22-year window of having kids. So it's going to be naturally more kids. So if
right.
everybody, and then there are people that want to have kids, right? But there's a growing number that don't for reasons like climate change that we just saw, right?
Hey,
So let's just say you have two kids, right? So you meet replacement. If you have two kids, you
Mm-hmm.
meet replacement. You're replacing you and your man that you had a child with. So that's replacement, right? If
Okay.
you if you have one kid, you're not meeting replacement. So now the population
Mm,
is declining, right? But
mm.
even though you had one kid, it's
then they
still a
just say about
population
20,
decline.
30. Then they say
But
about
don't you
You
20,
also
understand?
30,
feel like
everybody
this
gonna
is
be
a
able to be immortal.
population control thing?
Well, it is a population
It's
control
like
thing.
COVID.
We're
Now,
we're
it
not having
is, because they just
exactly. That's
said
why I
by
think
2030,
that's why I think that
people gonna be immortal.
we're having this experiment right here. It is population control. They've done it in a way without having to physically go take us and slit our throats, right? It's like,
Right.
hey, be too scared to have kids, or hey, let's take away financial security from people so they can't have
That's
kids.
basically what they did.
Right, because a lot of people, if they had the money, they would have had
Mm-hmm.
kids already. They would have
True.
bought a house already, right? But you're taking away because back in the day, our parents was able to work at McDonald's and pay for college, right?
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
That's
cost of
impossible
living
now. You can't do that
Yeah.
different.
now, right? A
Eggs
house
was
in
one
that
cent.
time was $50,000 for them to buy.
Yeah.
Us starting
Mm-hmm.
out is $350,000, right? That's like a 300% increase on buying a house to start off life that we have to
True.
deal with that they didn't have to deal with. So of course we're like, man, let me get my stuff together. But in this
Yeah.
society, it takes us to 35 to get our stuff together. You get what I'm
I
saying?
mean, in my opinion, why I chose not to have a kid at a young ages, I wanted to give them something outside of something financially in a better environment. Like, I want to be able to give them real knowledge, like, and know how to teach it to them to a point where they're in the rebellious stage, they could still get it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I
your
look,
frontal
I
lobe ain't
fully
developed
agree.
till like
The only
28,
one I don't
29.
agree with is the population. Oh, I'm not having a kid because of population, or not population, weather
Climate
change. I don't
control.
climate.
Better
Yeah, what
word.
I don't.
Better
Yeah, I
stuff
don't.
in the word.
But people saying I need to make sure I got money, I can't be mad at that. Like that makes sense. But let me answer Jeff real
Exactly.
quick. So having less people on Earth isn't a net positive for the older population, right? So what happens is a lot of jobs don't get filled. When
Mm-hmm.
we if a lot of jobs don't get filled, then you have a society collapse, right?
Right.
So if you're talking about in a village and we're in a micro, well, we got to look
Mm-hmm.
at the macro. In the
Right.
macro, in the large scale, if we have less people overall, then we can't keep our infrastructure going, and then we'll start having everything fall off, and then we might have little states break off in America, and they might become hostile towards each other, and because you're at this point you're trying to survive, right? And we don't want that. You want a population still at least replacing itself. We're not saying that we got to increase our population, but we got to at least meet the replacement rate of 2.1, and we're not even doing that. We're failing to do that.
If we look at it also, like, let's be real. My kids might not be able to see fireflies because we are out of control with lights. You know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like at the same
What up,
time, that's
Charlie?
that's not so much of a bad idea. We gotta think about the kids that are being developed in these poor environments that they
Yeah.
shouldn't have been in.
Talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I say we're literally living in the experiment. This is
Yeah.
like this. The same factors are pretty much put into place right now. What's your thoughts on that, Charlie?
I feel like it's definitely some sort of experiment, but also
Mm-hmm.
if we realize it's an experiment, why aren't we all doing something else about it and realizing that we're supposed to be doing something else to make this a little bit more sustainable? Because it ain't like there's a slight population issue when there's people living on top of each other in concentrated areas, and
Yeah.
people, and that's what the hot spots is. So like
That's what
with
we
that,
going through now.
you know what I'm
Right, but
saying?
that's the thing
Exactly.
though. So they tell everybody to move to California, Miami, Atlanta, New
Mm-hmm.
York, Chicago. Like those are
Right.
the
We full in
you know what I'm
Atlanta.
saying?
Take y'all at home.
It
We full
overcapacitated.
down here.
Right,
We
but that's what
full
we're
down here.
saying.
Go
They were
home.
saying that they promote us to do those things, right? Because people did used to live out in the country, and you know the great migration from a lot of people from the South
Mm-hmm.
moving to Chicago and all that in Detroit, right? We was a lot of us had our own farmland and everything down here, but we
Right.
saw more opportunity in the city. But that was set up, and then a fun fact, you know why a lot of black people up north can't swim?
Is there
Y'all
no
know, y'all
water?
ever seen that? It was a dope little documentary. It was a crazy documentary. It's an
Yeah, I was gonna
economic
say
Y'all
ain't no
can't
documentary.
way.
swim up down to Chris.
No,
We
Have
can't
you
all
been
right,
swim.
shipped in
so
a boat?
no, so remember
Oh, dang.
we migrated up there for opportunity. It was a lot more opportunity to make money during that time during manufacturing, right? All
Right.
right. So we moved up north for the manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturing ended around 90s around Bill Clinton when he started outsourcing. We moved from into a logic base instead of manufacturing economy, right? But
Mm-hmm.
during that
Yeah.
time period, when we were over there before white flight, what happened was we was living in proximity to the to white people in those areas, and it was everybody working in those warehouses. When those
Mm-hmm.
warehouses got shut down, the public pools in that area also got shut down.
Right.
So when all those public pools ended, they were no longer having any place to swim. And that's where you
Mm-hmm.
started seeing all those like those you ever seen those abandoned buildings with all the graffiti on it?
Yeah.
Those were old buildings or
The
warehouses where
pools.
people used to work. So that turned into a food desert. It turned into a place that didn't have work because all those
Mm-hmm.
companies left those areas and moved to the suburbs. And then also they took away the government took away the public pools in those areas. So that's why the kids would just play with fire hydrants, but they never actually learned to swim because it was taken away. I thought that was crazy when I learned
Oh,
that.
I didn't
That
know
was wild.
folks
I
up
mean,
north they
you could
can't
try to
swim.
swim in Lake Michigan, but it's gonna take you. That's the biggest killer out
Nah, you
here.
don't. Yeah, you don't want to
Okay,
go.
like Lake
You don't want to go in
Lanier,
there.
it's on that level.
Yeah. So, but
Go for
that's
Oh
what ended up
no.
happening. You know.
Damn, I didn't know
So
folks up north didn't know how to swim. That's
yeah, that's
crazy.
why it's always a stereotype of black people can't swim, but it's not
I
due
can
to
swim.
Yeah,
well,
me too.
but you down south, man.
Yeah, we from the south. Yeah, of course the southern. Yeah, all us from the south. Yeah, we
We
can
know
swim
how to
our ass off.
swim, but I
Yeah,
think like
it's a
it's
large
different
amount that
now.
doesn't know how to swim, but it's not like
Uh,
I can't say the stereotype of all New Yorkers can't swim, right? But you'll
Mm.
find a large concentration compared to like Georgia or Florida. You know, Florida they can swim,
That's why
right?
I find that kind of weird. Like they get that one stereotype from people up north when it's black people all across the country
You gotta
swimming.
remember though.
Caribbean, they ask
You gotta
them.
remember though. That's why Andre was like, it's gonna change. Y'all gonna start giving some respect in the South. The South wasn't getting represented at all.
oh yeah.
I know we see now, but back in the day, the South, we was country bumpkins. Nobody cared about them. They slow over there. Y'all remember
Yeah,
that?
Matt wasn't the first mayor.
Yeah, they thought we
Nah,
was
Yes.
you got a
country
good
down
point.
here.
Nah, you got a good
Yes.
Yeah,
point.
you
So
think
we
we
didn't
was
have no
slow.
representation. We didn't have no
Ah,
representation.
you're right. Cause you know what? You know what I always tell people about this shit too. Cause I watch a lot of gangster movies and stuff like that. And a lot of the black gangsters that was up north doing their
Oh,
thing was
yeah.
mostly from the South.
They ain't
Mm.
from the
From
south.
Georgia. Yeah,
That's
and
where
they
they're
moved from
from.
Georgia, moved from Florida,
Alabama.
moved from Alabama, moved from
They
South
were
Carolina,
exact. They were
Everybody
exactly.
can float.
They was.
Mississippi.
Hey, let's ask chat, man. How many of y'all in here can swim? So I can float.
I can float. It's hilarious.
I can. Look.
My
I
teacher
can
who taught me
swim.
how to swim just passed today. R.I.P. Coach
Right.
Josaful.
He said I can float.
Oh,
But yeah,
sorry
and
for
then
your
also they
loss.
took it out. They took it out of the
Thank you. I
schools
appreciate
too.
you.
They took it out of the schools too. The swimming
Oh, we
pool.
had swim class. I hated it because I used to, flat iron my hair in the morning, blow dry it on the weekends, and I had to swim. So I'm in class with a swim cap. I don't care, little plastic bag and
Mm.
a swim cap.
Swim
Yeah,
Hmm
class.
I already knew. I already said you from
Mm.
Florida. You can swim. I already know that.
Yeah. Jeff said, I'm from Florida. No, I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. It's too
That'd
much
be
water
Yeah,
around
we
here
got
now.
it.
Y'all.
I
You
know how
feel
to
me?
swim, man. I can't do nothing there.
That'd be
hmm
crazy if you didn't know
Yeah,
how to
you run
swim
around
and
and
you just
fall in
got
the
water
swamp
like
or something
that.
over there. It's done with. Yeah, it's over with.
Yeah.
He said
Oh
it's
Yeah,
yeah,
y'all
over.
got
yeah.
alligators
Smiley.
walking around
So
down there in
so what you were
Florida.
saying though, yeah, the South had no representation. So even if we saw like the black gangsters or the black families, it was always up north families being shown on TV. Right.
Right.
Yeah,
I can't even think of a down
Yeah.
south family that was on TV.
yeah, you right.
Mm,
All that
yeah.
living
I
single, all
know.
that Cosby Show.
Damn. I just thought about that.
Yeah.
Dang, man, we ain't had no
Rock, all
representation.
this, even rock.
Oh,
Had no representation.
yeah,
Martin
West
was in
Coast.
Detroit. No, yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had West
Detroit.
Coast. They had a West Coast. The Boys in the Hood. They
Yeah,
showed,
South
you
Central.
Uh-huh.
know. So, yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
They just ignored us like we
Yeah,
weren't
they
even
say,
around here, bro.
Yeah,
Martin lives in Atlanta. Literally
Atlanta
south.
had to make Outcast. We need to give
Literally
Outcast some more
50
props, bro. They put us on the map, boy.
on the
South
map.
got something to say. And
That's
now it feel
funny.
like everybody doing stuff from the South
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
dope.
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, the South seemed like it didn't
That,
exist. That is crazy, bro.
they
I did not
mad
know
That's
that.
Jason Lyric.
Oh, was Jason
they
Lyric?
mad 'cause Andre 3000 say he really from Decatur. He finally told him. Oh yeah, Jay Lear was in Louisiana. Yeah, it was.
Oh,
I
okay,
forgot about
okay.
Jason Lear.
East Bayou, Louisiana. But you remember
But
that?
that,
It was
that was what after what year was that?
that,
Was that
yeah,
after
that was
90?
after. That was after. Yeah, that was after. That's after Outkast did that. Yeah, that's true.
Feel me?
When did Jason Lyrics come out then? Was that around that same time?
I forgot
Might
what
have been
year.
around the same time. Yeah,
Oh, when,
Jason Lear might have been like
yeah,
93.
Jada Pinkett ass.
Okay, so this before.
I think
Okay.
it was.
Definitely the
Let me
early
see. I'm
90s,
gonna
mid
Google it.
You
90s.
think it was after 94 maybe? I be trying to think of the
Yeah, let me
shoes they was
see.
wearing. With you feel me?
That is a good way to tell what year it was if you're a
Yeah.
sneakerhead for stuff.
If he had them sevens on, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 94. You hit it right on the head.
94. Okay,
1994.
So that was around the same time. Then that was the same time around the social world, wasn't it? So I got something to say. Yeah, man. But
Yeah, it would have been 94, I think. Yeah, because 96 was when AT Aliens came out. So yeah,
yeah. hmm But yeah, so
That's
that's when
correct.
I guess the South started getting seen in '94. Before then, it was no South, nothing, bro. They were like them people slow out there. That's
yeah,
all
because
they used to think.
they ain't even give Two Live Crew they real just do. You feel me?
hmm Yep. They went, yeah, like Atlanta music, like Kilo Ali would have been huge if he got played. Kilo Ali and
Oh
Raheem the
yeah.
Dream, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
slip and slide, also everybody on slip and slide. So yeah, they was doing their thing though. JT Money. JT Money.
Yeah, I
I know
remember
you know
JT
JT
Money.
Money, Charlie.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was Luke
Talking
then
Um
went
about
off
JT
on
Money and
Dre
the
and them.
Poison Clan. Shout out to the
Compton
Poison
and
Clan.
What was
JT on tour
Cowards
right
and
now.
Compton. Yeah, Cowards
they
and
called it
Compton.
coward.
That was the name of it.
Chronic
Yeah,
was
when they went off on
93.
Dr. Dre, when Luke then went off on Dre.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cowards and Compton.
yeah, that's what I was just finna say too. Yeah, they was
Yeah.
clowning. They were trying to clown him.
Dr.
Yeah.
Dre
So
started it though. Yeah.
but yeah, so what do you think about them putting us on top of each other? Because they said that was one of the factors in the mice thing where they had, they built the columns up kind of similar to what the projects is, right? Like a
Yeah,
lot of the buildings in there, it led to hyper sexuality, it led to a lot of violence,
yeah.
neglecting the kids.
You
Um,
producing a working class.
yeah.
You base that's
So
all they doing, really.
and then
They know.
the food came easy and you had shelter. So you were provided food and shelter pretty much. And they
Yeah.
kind of did that with food stamps with us, right?
Yes, indeed. Look, food stamps, convenience stores, cheap food.
hmm
You know what I'm saying?
hmm And a place to live in.
That's it.
So, um, and you were saying how to combat it. You were thinking of ways to combat that situation.
Yeah, because like what we was talking about in the chat, right? Like we was
Yeah,
over in the Discord while we was watching this, and I'm like,
yeah,
me and Danielle was saying, and what Max was saying was that like it's our purpose to be fruitful. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying there's multiple ways to be fruitful as a human being because we're not a monolith. So while that may seem like our purpose, and this is just my view of it, you know what I'm saying? It may seem like our
mhm,
purpose, but let's say you got one household that's got 4 or 5 kids in it. Because you see people are multiplying like a shit. My brother got 5 kids, my sister got 4. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
right there, if every household should have a husband, a wife, and a son and a daughter, let's say by statisticals, shit, they already done covered my household twice, just with them and their household.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
feel me? So now my job to help them be fruitful is to keep getting this money and doing other things that I know that I'm good at with my brain and with my intuition and my heart is to, let's see if we can get a self-sustaining local grown, food market over here in the hood where it's a food desert. Let's put one of these containers up here and have you know what I'm saying? Stuff like
yeah.
that. Cause that's gonna help everybody in my community, including my family who is clearly producing. You feel me?
Right. Yeah. 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 For sure. People that are having the 5, 6 kids, they are doing a lot. We need to big them up in society. They are lifting. They're doing a lot of heavy lifting. Um, but there's for every one of your sister and your brother, there's 5, 6 others that don't, right? So that's where our problems come in, or not even not wanting to. Some people are just putting it off till later, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that just leads to probably one kid. I only had 2, right? So I just meet replacement. So I'm not adding to society. I just meet the replacement. You get what I'm saying? Uh, Bug, how many you had? 1 or 2? 1, right?
One right now.
1. Yeah. What you? Oh, Bug. Okay, Bug. Okay, Bug over here planning, so I didn't know. But yeah, he had 1. So right now he ain't meeting replacement, right? Um, so that's one thing that we got going on in just the world right now. The world population is in decline. South Korea is even worse. Japan's at a point where they can't even take care of their older population. There's not enough children. Um, so and that's where we are heading right now. It's not going to be enough workers, and it's not going to be enough. So pretty much all our programmers are going to go away because the government doesn't make money. They need workers. and we have cut our worker force in a third after this. So yeah,
So
pretty much
maybe
yeah,
it's
population gone.
maybe it's time for a reset.
Yeah.
Maybe the world is just resetting itself.
I said
Well,
that.
yeah,
I said,
yeah.
God, you
It
come
could be
on,
a
blow it up and
Because
do it again.
it ain't like we're gonna completely die off because there's clearly people reproducing. So if the only real issue
Mhm.
that I'm hearing from this conversation, and it might be some other things, but I keep hearing it from because I've seen these reports too. You feel me? I've seen the sperm Olympics and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that was
yeah.
down
you
here.
feel me?
No,
So
they're
I
doing
see
that to promote
yeah, but
people to
all I
have.
see people being worried about is infrastructure and workers and commerce. Man, we humans. We know how to farm and feed each other and take care of each other. If shit start
Well,
declining for a little bit and we can't go over there because the bridge fucked up and don't nobody want to learn how to do bridges, hey man, we're gonna be bridgeless for a little bit. We got everybody gonna slide over here.
well, we gotta remember something too, though. There are people that have always wanted population decline. We always just thought they
Yeah.
were going to do it through brute force. So, if we're talking about a loss of infrastructure, we're talking about billions of people that pass. So it's not a small thing. So yeah, it is.
Well,
It is a change, but I don't want to go through that change. I ain't gonna lie. I'm human. I want to survive, so I don't want to go through that change, right?
but
Um,
who says you die just because the population goes down and there's a slight infrastructure decline? People still know what to do to make
well, yeah,
things work.
but there's a chance. There's a good chance that you could be one of the ones that die, right? Because we're talking about billions. Now, of
Amen.
course, there's gonna.
Right.
We're not saying that we go extinct, but
Right.
there's a good chance that you're the one that passes away.
Well, I'm not supposed to live forever.
Well, I know that,
But
but we
They
have
but
we
say
have
by
survivors.
2030, everybody gonna be able to live forever anyway. I'm gonna tell
Look,
you what these
I'm
people
saying,
saying.
no, they're not saying everybody. First of all, that is the
Now you
transhumanists.
gotta
That's
have
the
some money to do that. Yeah.
transhumanists are have been trying to shift their consciousness into a computer for the last 15 to 20 years that they've been talking about.
oh
All
yeah,
right. And Walt Disney already knew about this before. They're trying to preserve his body at the time. So this isn't a brand new movement. It's been here since the 1800s. They've been trying to figure out how to do this. They're just closer now than ever before. But you saying about 2030, just know that you most likely ain't
Yeah,
gonna be at
I
that
seen
number,
the
bro.
one
If
scientist
right.
that
let's just
was,
say this, if you can't call Trump for a pardon, you're
oh, that
probably
ain't gonna
not
be
gonna
us.
be you're probably not gonna be the one that could get the transhumanist I don't know what they're gonna call it, Neuralink or whatever the hell it is that lets you
No,
live forever.
But
no,
this
we
is
ain't
why
gonna be able to get none of that. We ain't got no money.
trades is gonna be so important. And I understand, it's probably an experiment how they keeping people tied into phones and social media and stuff like that. Because when the population does start to decline, we're gonna need people who know how to do this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think the people that do know how to farm for
Huh?
themselves will be the ones that survive more so.
most
People
definitely.
that are then you got to also be fit because you're going to be in a different world.
Yes,
Like
sir.
we're going to have to be able to run from danger constantly because it's not going to be people that just say, "Hey, kumbaya, we're friends now." They're going to constantly try to steal from you for survival. People do anything to survive,
Oh yeah.
right? So, that those dystopian futures that they've been showing us is going to become a reality, right? So, really,
Apocalypse world.
living in a population center when the world starts to teeter, if you're living in a dense populated area, you're in danger because other people are going to do something to you. That's a
Well,
fact.
Well,
that's why
I got the technical skills,
Got the
the
blickies,
security
got the
skills, and the stuff like that. I got them skills.
I
Yeah,
know
I
what
got
y'all
them
about, man.
skills.
I got all
Get
the
ready to get rid of
bullets
some
y'all
folk.
got. Hey,
that's
I be
why
buying bullets,
Yeah,
man.
I encourage every citizen of America or any country that you have your right to exercise your right.
Yeah,
Do whatever you got
yeah,
to do to legally acquire a firearm to protect your household.
it's
Get as
true.
many as you
And
need to,
practice and practice.
and
Go to the
practice.
range. Go to the
Practice gun
range.
safety.
yeah,
Teach gun safety to your family.
yeah, man. Shoot, we had to do
Stay
that during
safe. Stay
security
dangerous.
training. So I got that part.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
people
man.
that watch a lot of the survival shows and then practice, I think they could be good too. But at the end of the day, if there's also little things. If you watch survival shows, you get a cut on your hand, it gets
Mm-hmm.
infected, you don't have any doctors, you can go. It's a lot of things that could take us out. But more so than anything is other humans. If they see
Yeah.
you got a garden, you better hunker down. You better put booby traps. They gonna try to take your tomatoes.
But
They see
see,
you got a little smokehouse. They gonna try to get in there, get the smoked meat, right? So it's gonna be bad because people do whatever they could to survive.
that's why you get companies like ours to get ahead of that. You feel me? The same way I'm telling people, hey, it may be 15 years from now. Arm
Mhm.
yourself now and learn now. So in 15 years, you done already taught your offspring and all that shit over the next, you know what I'm saying? But while they
Yeah,
doing that, the ones who ain't trying to have no kids right now, oh, I'm building these regenerative grow houses that grow food. And I can just pick them up and drop them off. Pick them up and drop them off. Ain't no reason for nobody to be robbing nobody. I won't have it.
yeah,
But just
yeah.
in
I think
case,
that's a
everybody
good fact.
armed.
That's a good fact, Charlie. You should definitely be nomadic. At that point, you're gonna have to be able to, whenever you sense the wind blowing differently and somebody coming, you got to move.
Yeah.
You gotta keep on moving because hunkering down. Because I know a lot of people, and I always think that's the worst one. They do the house and they got everything there. Somebody just gonna take it from you. They gonna be
That's
like, "Thank you."
yeah.
It's like that Obama movie. You remember that one that set up everything? I can't remember that Obama movie
Oh
name,
yeah.
but remember they set
Leave the
everything up.
world behind.
Leave the world behind,
Yeah,
right?
they
And
leave
then
the
Yeah.
world
you
behind.
just set at least
Yeah.
I guess if you were giving, you could just set it up for somebody else because they came and found all of the food they prepped, and they were like, well, shit, we could just
But
watch all our shit right here and watch this and chill. They never made it
Tommy,
back to their house to survive.
They
That's
found
that's
them
gonna
crazy.
be me.
underground bunkers.
Yeah, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna already have solar panels. I'm gonna have them tucked off. I'm gonna have them.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be rolling through on a damn a super bulletproof Tesla truck. You feel me?
Hey,
I'm
the Tesla
towing
trucks
and
is
I'm dropping them
bulletproof
bitches
for real.
off everywhere. Don't worry about it. Don't you thought you robbing? You think you robbing somebody? I dropped this off. This a care package, and I'm just riding through,
Yeah.
dropping care
Yeah.
packages off.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think the reason why the mice all went extinct because they don't have ingenuity like us. So, but it does show that we are going down and that population decline. Of course, at some point we will correct it as humans, but it'll be a lot of people lost by then. And I think that's exactly what the world leaders want, though. They always talked about a smaller population. We had the Georgia Guidestones over here. Somebody blew that thing up, though. You remember that book?
They
Somebody blew that
blew it
thing up.
up. Somebody
But
blew it up.
but they were
Yeah,
like talking about
seen
bringing the
that.
world population down to what was it, 500 million or something like that? I think it was
Something
something
like that.
crazy. Man,
500,000 or something.
500 million. I think it was 500 million. But we have like 6
Oh,
billion people on the planet or something. So it's like,
Yeah,
damn,
it's a way smaller
goodness,
number than what it is.
damn, bro. Like,
Way smaller. Like
like,
dropping commas off.
yeah, bro. Like
Commas
that's
off.
they
crazy.
gonna knock a lot of folks off. It'll be
But
like
that's
they
what we used
moving
to
their
think. We used to
bloodline,
think
find
that.
a
But
destination
that's what I'm saying,
bloodline.
though. But I think that's the part we got wrong. Cause I remember back in 2010, earlier YouTube days, they kept on sewing the Georgia Guidestones. They were talking about how they were gonna line us in these casket liners of 5-6 bodies at a time. I
Oh
remember seeing
yeah.
those. Oh, you remember that?
Yep.
I think they're just gonna tell us
Yeah.
not to have kids, which
Yeah.
we're already doing. I think they're gonna tell us that it's not safe. I think they're gonna make it hard to have
Mhm.
kids. I think they're gonna make it hard to have families, and we're just gonna do it ourselves. Because you just take a couple generations, as we see.
Yeah.
Because if we just
It is
cut
what
it
it
down
is.
a third, if we cut it down
Make
from
it
100
safe.
million to only 40 million, what's the next generation gonna do? 40 million to 10 million, 5 million, right? So that's a faster way. And the transhumanists do believe that they could be brought back, so they don't mind if it takes 50 to
See, I
100
told
years.
you, yeah. See, Jeff got it right. It wasn't even 500 million. It
Is it
was
500,000?
500,000.
Wait,
Yeah, it was 500,000. I knew I wasn't tripping. It was something like
A
that.
small city.
Yeah,
500,000
yeah,
for
that's
the
what they
whole
wanted
world.
to do.
The whole world.
That's it. Yeah, for the
They
No
whole
want to be
way,
world.
they want to
bro.
be gods.
Mhm.
Dang, that's crazy, man.
So that means it might be every continent gonna have about 50,000 people apiece. 50,000 over here, 50,000 over
I
there.
mean, why would they even want to be in that though? Like, what? There's no
Hey, man.
what? Like, who do they want? Is there going to be any diversity? at all. It's just gonna be just they people. Is that what it's gonna be?
Yeah, we gonna be here. Hey, we already know by 2030 everybody gonna be black, damn and black. They already said that. That's one reason they trying to have babies too, though.
That's why we got
500,000.
Yeah.
That's why we got to be sticking together and really knowing each other.
And they
really
still don't
becoming a
know who put it
community.
up.
Yeah,
How they don't know who put it up? That's
they
the
still
crazy
don't know
thing
who
about it.
made that.
It's just there, they claim.
Before the surveillance,
somebody blew it up. They don't know who blew it up neither.
Before all the
They
little
don't know
tiny
who blew it
surveillance
up.
cameras and drones.
Yeah, they don't know who blew it up. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wait, what?
Yeah, they blew it up. They don't know. They don't know who blew it up, though.
Yeah, they ain't never found out who blew
found
it
them
up.
by now.
Somebody blew that up. I don't know who blew it up neither.
No, I know they blew it up, but I thought they would at least found them by now.
Nah, they ain't. I don't know who blew it up.
We living in a surveillance state. They are high in the hell.
I don't know who did.
They see everything else.
Hey, I mean, hackers can hack them cameras. A good hacker can.
Hold up. It looks worse than that. Actually, it's worse, bro. They said population shouldn't be over 100,000
for the whole world.
Oh,
yeah, it's even worse than that.
Yeah, whoever built that, yeah.
That's
it's a good thing they didn't become the leaders. Whoever built that, man.
Oh yeah. I seen that. That was a time. That was a Time magazine, Mr. X. Like I seen what you were talking about. They called it a maglamoid world. They were saying that all humans were gonna be pretty much look like Steph Curry. It was like Steph Curry and them real talk. Yeah. I've seen that.
It's gonna be like the biblical times.
Yeah, everybody's just gonna be just this mixed looking hodgepodge of people left over. So that's what is that gonna be the 100,000? Just a mixed race. Hey, maybe that's that utopia. Hey, you can't be racist. We all we all mixed. They gonna start. You know what they gonna start doing? Your eyes. You got green eyes. We don't like green eyed people. You envious. We don't like the green eyed folks. We gonna find something.
Nah, I seen the episode of the Twilight Zone, right? You know, I used to watch the Twilight Zone. In the Twilight Zone, the dude wanted to get away from black people, right? Black some bitches. So he went through, he traveled to another dimension.
Yeah.
So he thought it was like, well, he had a child and a daughter. No, it wasn't that. They were white people, but they killed them because they had black hair. Everybody had blonde hair, but they had black hair because they didn't like people with black hair. He got away from all the black folk, but the world he went to, they didn't like his wife and child because they had black hair. So they killed them too.
That's
let
crazy.
him live. He had
black. We're gonna find something to discriminate. We'll find a way to discriminate, even if we all was this mixed.
That's crazy.
You talking about black? They got black hair. They got that.
Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, Charles, any last words on that? On this whole utopian experiment, and what's going on with us?
Hey man, get to know each other, become a community. Don't let them separate us, because right now they teaching us not to trust each other, and then they gonna try to make us depend on each other. How that's gonna work?
That's big facts. Big facts. Book, what about you?
Yeah. Hey man, listen. Hey, don't start having some kids. You ain't got to be planning that, but you know what I'm saying? Have you some, they're blessing. Have you some later. You gotta have them right now. You know what I'm saying? Not if you're 20 or something like that. Yeah, but try to have some in the next couple of years.
Okay. Yeah, I just think we should be cautious of the social engineering, because we don't never think about somebody, an invisible hand, kind of doing this on our lives, right? Because the trick is for you to think that you're making your own decisions. So if you're not questioning what you're told, even from here or any other outlet, if you at least question, because if you never question, then you stay dumb, right? And they teach us that in school. You don't want to be that kid to raise hand. You know what I'm saying? People be scared to raise their hand because you don't want to seem like the dumb kid, right? But the person that asks the question is the person that has more knowledge than anybody else. So always ask questions. Even if the news is telling you, yeah, you do this, you should be like, why? That should be the number one. We need to get out that child back. The children used to always be like, "Mommy, what's this? Mommy, why we do that?" We need to get back to that. We need to get back to why. Asking why, bro. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel like the idiot. You're not an idiot.
They still do
right?
that. Children still do that.
That's what I'm saying. We need to act like we need to get that childish mindset there and be like,
Yeah.
why? Why are you telling me to take the shot? Now, if they tell you and if it's good with what you believe, go ahead. But you don't just do it because they said it. That's just dumb, right? Another thing, they tell you to have kids. Why? Now go do a checklist. Why? Later on, is it going to benefit me? Is it going to benefit now? What is good and bad? Just the question is why, but we just need to bring why back. Just start asking why, because we just kind of go with, oh, I like them, right? But why? Why are you listening to Kai Cenat? He told you to do this because a lot of people watch him. But why? Why do you want to do X, Y, Z? Because they just be like influencers. They learn to bring influence. That's our new celebrities now, right? They're no longer regular people too. That's another thing. We might do a show on that too. Because the whole point of YouTube, I call it corporate tube now. YouTube used to be just other people just like you and me just doing videos. But now even people that seem normal have a whole movement of corporate money behind them. So, and they're pushing the agenda. All right. So we gotta be mindful of that. So that's my last thought on that, man. We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate you, Charlie, and Chrissy too. First time.
I gotta get back to it tonight.
Chrissy.
Chrissy,
All
first time up here, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly, Jeff. We need to why? That need to be our theme song, bro. Everybody, the whole world's theme song needs to be why, bro. Like for real though, man. Like just why? Why are you going out and riding? If you can answer that self, because a lot of times we really don't do things without a why. We don't. We just go do it. You know, say, hey, why are you doing that? I mean, shit. Here, I heard. Okay, so did you look into it?
They think we the Justice League over here. The Black Justice League.
With the why,
man,
right?
We can't do nothing. We look out there and get our ass killed. Fucking with y'all.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I want to come out there and get cut.
Yeah. We know why we ain't going out there.
I gotta be careful tonight. I know they out here protesting.
That's a why we got an answer to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know why we ain't going. We ain't going out there. We ain't get our gun down. Y'all got it.
All right. We appreciate all y'all for rocking with us again. Share this with a friend that they ain't never heard of about this Mouse Utopian Experiment. All right.
Stay mad.
Peace.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Lab One podcast, where all the real ones still broadcast. Say what? We got the funniest chat, mad ones.